Hi, how are you?
Hi.
It's Jabulani from Malahleni campus.
Thank you, Jabulani.
Thank you.
Hi, Snowball from Malahleni. I don't have EP. I'm using a PC, ne? So you won't be able to see me.
Okay, I didn't get your name.
It's Nolu Babalo from Malahleni.
Hi, Nolu.
Hi, Sisi.
Did we all introduce ourselves? Are we not leaving anyone behind?
Mute. I'm Sister Linda from Malahleni campus. Good morning. I've got Jamina here with me. She's a cleaner, so I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So you are two sharing a laptop?
Yes, it's a PC. That's why you can't see my face.
Okay.
Thank
Nice
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Everyone has introduced themselves?
Hi. I have Victoria with me, but she's got a problem. She can hear us, but she cannot see. She can hear us, but she cannot see.
Okay, you are two there as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if we have all introduced ourselves, I would like to also remove the video on my side due to to be audible. It will be easier that way to present and be audible, because sometimes it's difficult to put the video on while I'm presenting and still be audible. All right, please feel free to ask any questions if you do have any or comment. I'll be taking you through here. I will also leave my number if you do want. You can contact me if you felt it was too personal for you to ask the information here on this platform, or you can write on the chat box. If I don't see the messages, I'm hoping that Katlego will help me read those messages while I'm presenting, if there are any that do come in. All right, it's our new module. We are redesigning the on the money. We used to have a previous on the money. It's also called the Big Five Secret of Money Management. We're still looking at the Big Five animals, but we're looking at, after the pandemic, how do we still find our finances or see money? All right, we take control. They say take control of your money, live your best life. The first one, we're looking at your road to your best life. One, you understand what influences your money decision. Two, you manage your money well. And then three, you set actionable financial goals. And then four, you take control of your debt. And then five, you protect yourself and your family. We are going to show you the 5 secrets of money management that will let you live your best life. We'll start with the secret of the lion. We say be fearless like the lion and take control of your money. Our second animal we're going to talk about is the elephant. Pay attention like the elephant. Know your income, track your expenses, and make informed decisions. Our third animal will be the rhino, where we say charging down your debt like the rhino. Then don't let your debt run your life. And then number 4, we focus on your goals like the leopard, stalk it prey. And then our last animal will be the buffalo, where we look at protecting and growing your head, like your family wealth. We start with the secret of the lion. Let's talk about money. As I've said, the lion, you find it on 50 Rand. We say be fearless like the lion and take control of your money. What influences your decision about money? It could be family, where you're coming from. You are working for TUT. They've set a certain standard for you in terms of what you should wear, what you should drive, which house you can live into. Also advertising on radio, newspaper, magazine. That has an impact on how you use when it comes to your decision, when it comes to your money. And also your personal circumstances. If you feel you grew up poor and then now you want to show people that you are moneyed, so you end up setting a very high standard. Social media, we've seen a lot of people taking photos with LV bags or buying expensive alcohol, taking photos, putting it on Twitter, on Instagram, just to show that they are living their life. Then we've got dreams and goals. The type of dreams you set for yourself also has an impact in terms of decision when it comes to your money. And the friends you associate yourself with, or the type of friends you have, they also influence your decision when it comes to your money. This is where we find ourselves behaving like the two birds, which is an ostrich and a peacock. They say when an ostrich is scared, it supposedly buries the head under the ground. That's where we find ourselves as well in situation like that, where we bury ourselves under the ground. We know private number. We don't open letters. We avoid people we owe money to because of this type of influence we get when it comes to decision making towards our money. And also we find ourselves behaving like a peacock. We buy things we don't want to impress people who don't like with money we don't have, because we're trying to live according to people's standards. And we need you to move away from the two birds and start behaving like the lion, where we're looking at different ways of savings. But also for you to make a decision, the right decision when it comes to your money, it also depends on the background you're coming from, which family, and how was the relationship within the family when it comes to money. There are 4 types of people or different backgrounds where we're coming from. We have the anxious classroom. The anxious classroom is where you're coming from a family where you were always stressed about money and you never talked about it. Then we have the unstable classroom. The unstable classroom is where you were stressed about money and there was always argument about it. Then we've got the secure classroom. It's where you come from a family where you were always calm, emotionally calm about money, but there was little talk, but not, or sometimes there was no talk about money at all. Then we've got the unaware classroom. Emotionally, it was calm. You were never stressed about money, and you were always talking about money. So you need to look at which 4 classroom you're coming from. When you were growing up, were you from the anxious classroom, unstable classroom, secure classroom, or unaware classroom? That will give you an indication of where are you now in the present time. How do you feel about money now? When you think about money, do you feel anxious? When you think about money, do you get stressed a lot, or do you argue about it with it could be with your spouse, with your partner, or with your children? And also, you need to look at, do you pay black tax or family tax? We know what is black tax. Within Old Mutual, we also call it sandwich generation. So those are the things you need to look at when it comes to families. They say 59% of South Africans have expectation that they will have to support their family. And we see in 2020, when the pandemic started, adult dependence has increased. Yes, we are fortunate, some of us, we're still working, but it doesn't mean our family members are still also employed. There are those who experience retrenchment, we have those who experience salary cut. So that becomes that affects you as well financially. So we need to find a way how to talk to our families about money. Money is an emotional topic. You need to stay calm, focus on your common goal, and try not to assign blame. Listen attentively, give others a chance to talk. Just because you are the breadwinner, it doesn't mean they have to always listen to you. Start small, maybe with just your partner or your spouse. Then you can schedule a regular imbizo yemali with your family. Just explain to them what you can afford and what you can't afford. And then they understand as well your financial situation. And then also advertising on social media has an impact on our finances. When you see that only 9 left, they create scarcity. When they say only 9 left, you panic, you want to buy it now while you didn't budget for it. And they also use influencers to attract people, to make people buy things they didn't budget for. And sometimes they just use where they say, okay, now you are saving 20%, some they use 75%, it was 340, now it's 272. So you're saving 20% off. Or where they use on the rating, you're looking at a lot of people have been buying this item. That means I can also, it's the in thing, it's a trend. So I also need to buy. If 30 people bought this thing, that means it's a good item. I should also buy it. Those are the things that influence us when it comes to money. So for you to find out how are you, what is the relationship between you and money, you can do what we call the money personality quiz. I've emailed it to Katlego. If you are interested in finding out what type of a person are you, you can ask Katlego to send you that link, or she can post it on the chat box. Then on your own, you can go through and find out which personality do you have. We've got 4 types of personality. We've got the spender, we've got the saver, then we've got the investor and the dreamer. I'll just quickly take you through them so that you know more or less what do they mean if they say you are a spender or you have a spender personality. A spender likes nice things, fancy cars, expensive house, brand clothing. They will sometimes go into debt to keep up the lifestyle. Don't take on too much debt. Don't buy unnecessary stuff. Shop around for better prices and start saving. If you are a spender, these are the things you need to do. And then if you have a saver personality, after you've done the quiz, you can, a saver try to save every cent of money they get, but they don't take a risk when it comes to investment. So don't put all your savings in low return investment, e.g. money market account, instead of investing it. Then we have what we call the investor. They take risk on investment, hoping for a big payout. This personality type is entrepreneurial in nature, but also has a higher risk appetite. If you are this personality type, then understand the financial impact of your risk you take. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your investment. And then we've got dreamers, are idealistic, thoughtful, and compassionate. You tend to use your money for defining and developing who you are. This money personality tend to focus on their dreams and might not always pay enough attention to their money. If you are this personality type, automate your saving, payment, and investment. Keep a close watch over how much you spend. You can do a stop order or a debit order because you know that you are not that much disciplined when it comes to your money. So basically, when you do that money personality, it will give you more or less of the type of personality you have towards your money. All right, manage your money. When you talk about managing your money, we're looking at the secret of the elephant. You pay attention like the elephant, know your income, track your expenses, and make informed decisions. Before I get into the budget, anyone who wants to share how do they do their budget every single month? Anyone wants to share? How do they do their budget every month? If I do still remember some of your name, I remember that we did have football piece. Is Poppy, do you want to share?
Hi, I want to share.
Okay.
I try to budget, but sometimes I find myself out of the budget. I would write the things I need to spend on and how much I need to save and all, but then I would know how much I still would have before the next pay, but then I don't know what happens, man. I'll find something, I don't know, I'll find my money no longer there. I think it's small things like maybe buying bread and some, I just don't stick to the budget. So yeah.
You're always on minus on your budget.
Yes, I don't really stick to it 100%.
So we have a problem of discipline.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say
So
that.
it's Ruth, right?
Yes.
Ruth 2. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Ruth. So it means the problem is you need to be disciplined and you need to start compromising and sacrificing some of the things. Then you will be able to live within your budget.
I had somebody say you should write down everything, but then you know those times when you you know you have maybe, let's say, 3,000 for groceries, a car 2,000, whatever, municipality 100 rand. And then there are those small things like bread. You will live with bread all the time. So how do you allocate that amount? I think that's where one gets lost. Not necessarily that I don't have discipline, but I think I don't write everything, and I don't know how to go about like putting everything in my budget and know for sure that I should spend this much for the month. I don't know how to, I don't know if you get me.
Yes, I do understand. All right, what I would do, I will take you through the budgeting, and then we'll look at some of the things that we normally will leave out. When it comes to bread and vegetables, I know some of us, we don't like frozen veggies, right? So those are the things that we'll normally buy bread every 2 days, depending how many you are at home. Some will just buy every week and then put the bread in the fridge. And then some will buy veggies every weekend. So for that money, you need to find out how much is it one bread and how many do you buy each week, and then you save that money, because that's how I do it. I will just, me and my daughter, every month I will save 100 rand just for bread, so that every 2 days when I do buy bread, I have that money and I put it aside, not in my wallet, always at home. So I will take you through in terms of budgeting, and then we'll see what do you normally leave out that makes you find yourself overspending when it comes to your budget. But before we can write everything down, but if we are not disciplined, we'll always struggle. So you need to still be disciplined, you need to compromise, you need to sacrifice. Whenever you do your budget, there are things you need to know that you can live without. So I'll be taking you through that. Hopefully you will live with a more or less picture how you should start doing your budget. All right, thank you, Ruth. And know what money is coming in, your income if you are married with your spouse, if you have a living partner, your living partner, if you have a side hustle plus your side hustle. Figure out what money going out, the one that goes to your expenses, including your debt. And then step number 3, you categorize your expenses and adjust your budget. And then we'll look at how can you start cutting down on your budget. Because remember, if you don't adjust your budget will adjust you, which is what most of us we're experiencing every month. Our budget is adjusting us. Monitor your budget. So you need to keep track on it.
Kashuna, please unmute yourself. We can't hear you now. It seems you're muted.
I don't know, there's something just showed up. I thought it was you guys on that side because I didn't touch anything. All right, sorry about that. So the common myth is about budgeting. People always give reasons why they shouldn't budget, but it is important to start with small steps. Write down everything you spend your money on every day. The math in budgeting, it's easy. You can also use our app. It's called 22/7. That does the math for you every single month. You can download it and then put your income, and then it will be linked with your payslip or with your bank account, and then it will do the budget for you. You don't want to give up that year budget beggar or those levies, no problem. Put it in your budget and plan for it. As long as you spend your money, you can budget and take control of your life. All right, and then I will be taking you through on how to do a budget. As I've said, you need to write down all sorts of income, whether you are married, you have a side hustle, or you've got interest, maybe you have a rental property or return on investment, you get dividends every single month. All right, we're looking at diversify your income streams. You can build financial resilience by diversifying your source of income. If you earn a salary, see whether you can start a side hustle. I always say, remember, I don't know about TUT, but most companies do have conflict of interest. So before you do start your side hustle, you need to check with the conflict of interest. Whatever business you do on the side doesn't affect your job. And then you can sign that policy. Invest some of your salary to earn and return. I always say to people, to build your wealth, you need to have extra things that will help you to have income. Even if you do lose your job at TUT, you will still have extra, you still have income coming in. That way you are building your wealth. As long as you're only looking at one income, it means you are far from building financial stability. The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us the importance of income diversification. About 49% of people show negative impact on their income during pandemic. That's because we are not saving for emergency. I will talk about emergency when you get to the budgeting part. Find the right bank account for you. Once you start earning an income, the safest place to keep it is in a bank. Shop around for the bank account with the lowest fees. Open an interest earning savings account for your emergency fund. It could be a Mzansi account, transmission account, check account, money account, or fixed deposit. As long as you remember with the fixed deposit, you have to save a notice. Understand what you spend your money on. If you are paying for rent or a bond, grocery, takeout, electricity or water, debt repayment, entertainment, personal care, education, transport, data, and airtime. We spend a lot on data during the pandemic when we were on lockdown last year. And we have to find ways to cut down on data and airtime. How much are you spending every single month? Deciding between your needs and your want, you can use the Mpho method. It's a must have, should have, could have, won't have. That's where the sacrifice and compromise comes in. Needs are must have, things that are essential for living. Wants are desires, things that we want, but we could also do without. So when you do your budget, remember the Mpho, must have, should have, could have, won't have. Let's meet Mpho. She's a supervisor at the logistic company and earns 22,000 per month. She received a child maintenance of 500 Rand. Her take home is 20,500. After deduction, Mpho has identified her expenses. She's currently spending more than she earns and surviving on payday loan. Can you please help her balance a budget and save? This is Mpho's budget, every month, income, child plus child maintenance, and then that's the total 21,000. All right, money out, that's where the budget starts. Money out, it's rent, light, and water, monthly grocery, take out on food, and then transport, it's taxi. And if maybe you are a group of people living in the same area, going to work, working in the same company, you can decide to make an agreement where you use one car this month, and then the following month you use somebody else's car, you contribute petrol, and then you will be saving a lot there as well. Personal care, your hair. I know ladies, we love doing our nails and hair, and then also on makeup. You can look at that, how much you're spending every single month. And then you can communication, we're looking at cell phone and data. And then on debt, we're looking at store account, credit card, installment agreement, and then payday loan. We can also include a bond or rent if you are renting. Then childcare, crèche fees, or school fees if you are paying every month. And then family tax, also known as black tax. Entertainment, DSTV, how much you are spending every month. Insurance, and then we've got irregular expenses, also known as emergency. Then we need to find ways, how can we help Mpho to cut down and to start categorizing and adjusting her budget. All right, we're looking at similar expenses for Mpho, and then we start cutting back on takeout. You can buy, instead of buying takeout or eating on a restaurant, you can start cooking at home. You can buy grocery and start cooking at home. You can also start cutting on cosmetics and data instead of calling anytime or just using data anytime. We can look at peak hours and then negotiate lower black tax with brother or family member. You can switch from DSTV to Netflix. If the situation is that bad, you can even go to HD. It's for free. You only pay the installment. You only buy it once. And then after that, it is for free, depending on how bad is your situation financially. You can also find cheaper life insurance after shopping around. Then instead of being on a deficit, you will find yourself saving 503 Rand after looking at where you can start cutting off. And then step number 4, you monitor your budget. You look at choose to cook at home and save on additional 200 Rand on takeout. That will help you as well. Now, instead of saving the 503 Rand, you'll be saving 703 Rand per month. So that's how you can look at how you can adjust and also monitor your budget every single month, where you can start cutting off on things that are wants instead of things that are your needs. How to manage your expenses better. Can I really afford this item? Is it in my budget? So whenever you want to buy something, can I really afford it? Is it in my budget? Especially when you go and do your grocery. If a chocolate is not on your list, you don't buy chocolate. Do I really need this item? Can I use less of this item? Normally the answer is yes, you can use less on airtime. Instead of calling everyone whenever you're bored, you can just call when it's an emergency or just say hi every now and then. It doesn't have to be always every day. Is there a cheaper alternative? Like I said, on DSTV, if you're paying 500 Rand every month, you can look at a cheaper premium, maybe pay 200 and something or 100 Rand every month. If I borrowed to buy it, how much will it cost me in total? Because normally we're only looking at, I want it now. We don't look at how long am I going to pay this thing? Individual versus household budget. How many of you do budget at home with families? Or do we do our individual budget every month? Do we have people who do family budget, household budget?
Petunia,
Yes.
we currently muted all the participants so that we can only have a question and answer session once you have done with your presentation, so that you are not interrupted. Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'll continue then.
All right,
so
thanks.
It's very important to check if you are doing an individual budget, and also if you can also try and do a household budget where you include everyone. Most of us think of setting a budget for ourselves, but if you are married or have a partner, a household budget can help you to achieve your goals and save money. And it will also help you to avoid some of unnecessary challenges in future, where you thought your partner was paying for your bond every single month, and then before you know it, you find sheriff coming to repossess your house because your partner, instead of paying for a bond, maybe they were gambling every month that money. So that will also help you to see that or monitor that your partner is paying all the expenses they're supposed to be paying every month. All right, steps in creating a household budget. Pull your income as discussed previously, add up all your household expenses, categorize your expenses and adjust your budget. Monitor your household budget. It's your income, your expenses, and then you will find out whether you're on deficit or you're on surplus. And then we move from there. The 3 types of savings we should have right now, it's emergency fund, which is very, very much important. I've always asked people, if you were to lose your job today, or if there will be a problem with payroll system, and you find yourself in a situation where they say for 3 months, you won't be receiving your income. The question is, would you survive for 3 months without an income? And we found most South Africans, they cannot survive even a month without an income. And you've been maybe working for more than 5 years, but you cannot survive for 3 months without your income. And that is a very important question you need to ask yourself. Can I survive for 3 months without an income? If the answer is no, then you have a serious problem. You need to start saving towards your emergency. Enough savings to cover at least 3 to 6 months of living expense. And then goal-driven savings, e.g. for lobola, for wedding, deposit for a house or a car or that holiday. And then retirement saving to cover your living expense when you retire. This is the 22/7 app I was talking about that will help you. If you link it with your bank, it will help you to do your budget every single month. Or you can do the old school approach. We call it the Kokeibo method. It is the Japanese approach to budgeting. Get yourself 2 notebooks, one big and one small. In the larger notebook, you draw up your budget as per discussion, and then you carry the small one around in your bag and then note down everything you spend on. I think that was Ruth's question in terms of how can I make sure I know every cent every single month? And then that is where the answer is. You can either do the app one where you do smart using the technology one, or you can do the old ways where you have a notebook, you write every single thing. When you buy airtime, when you buy a chocolate, when you buy wings, or you're craving for cold drink, you can just write it down because you didn't budget for that particular month. Then we've got set actionable goals. We're looking at the secret of the leopard. It's on 200 Rand on the South African note. We say focus on your goals like the leopard stalks its prey. You've got short term, which is up to 1 year. Where are you now? We are on the 14th of May. From 14th of May 2021 to 14th of May 2022, what do you want to achieve? Then from 1 year to 3 years, it's a medium. And then we've got long term, which is 3 years to 5 years. The first, when you look at the short term, we say we're looking at paying off my credit card balance of 5,500 Rand. We're looking at just now, you want to be debt free. Or then the medium one, maybe for example, say for 20,000 for the deposit on my apartment, and then start my own business with a capital of 50,000. That is for long-term goal. All right, how can you do that? If you pay off my credit card balance of 5,500 Rand, I can do that by paying minimum balance and 300 Rand extra every month. And then you can set maybe 500 aside every month so that you can save for that deposit for apartment. Then you can save 50% of all your bonuses every year so that you can reach that goal to start your own business. All right, your turn. Let's set some goals, short-term, medium, long-term. You can stick those goals on a wall in your bedroom or on the fridge or by your mirror so that you can see them every day. All right, remember also the type of marriage you choose also has an impact when it comes to your money. So I'll be taking you through the different type of marriages we have in South Africa and the regime, the type of regimes, marriage regimes we also have. For those who are married, let's say you are in there, you are in there. For those who like to get married, then you will make a better informed decision. For those who say, I'm not the marrying type, we'll talk about that. What does the law say? And then I'm sure you are aware of polyandry. I don't know how you feel about it, where a woman can have 2 husbands. They are busy waiting for people to comment. If you feel you want women to have more than 2 husbands, you can also voice your opinion and vote for it. So that in South Africa, it can also be by law that a woman can have 2 husbands. All right, the civil marriage is where you get married by church or you go to Home Affairs, you get an official to marry you. Remember, whoever marries you in a church or at Home Affairs must be officiated. Because we've seen some people get married in a church to find out later on they were not really married because the pastor doesn't have the power to marry you. So you have to check if your pastor is officiated. So under civil marriage, you're only allowed to have 1 wife, 1 husband. And then we've got a civil, okay, before I go to the civil union, I want us to look at the customary marriages. Customary marriages is where you get, you send the uncles for negotiations, they come to an agreement, they pay the full amount or they pay a deposit as they normally say. It doesn't matter. What is important is that negotiation took place, and then there are witnesses. Make sure that both witnesses are from both families. And there's this tendency, some men will ask their friend to negotiate for their lobola, which is wrong. It should be a family member who negotiates for that, for the lobola. So you need to make sure that both families sign the letters, and then there's a celebration that takes place. Within 3 months of the marriage, you go to Home Affairs, you register your customary marriage. It doesn't change the type of marriage you've entered, it just make it a legal marriage. If you enter, and remember, under customary marriage, a man is allowed to have a second wife, a third wife, only if they ask permission from the first wife. And they need to go to the High Court and ask a letter for them to have a second wife. If you enter any of the two marriages, a civil or customary, without seeing a lawyer, automatically you've entered in community of property. In community of property simply means what is yours is mine, what is mine is yours. So if I win the lotto, I don't come back and say I've won, but I come back and say we have won the lotto. We are a team, including your retirement. I'm entitled to 50% of it, including your debts. If we do divorce, you must know that we share 50-50 on your debts. So you need to understand the type of marriage regimes you enter into. It doesn't matter whether it's civil or customary. And then you have what we call the common law. The common law is when a guy meets a lady, they fall in love, they start dating. After 3 months of dating, they'll be that one who leave a slippers on their visit. The next visit, they leave a jacket. The following visit, they leave a dress. Within 6 months or a year, all their belongings are in your house. That we call it fat and set. Most people will say, after 6 months of staying together in South Africa, we are married, but that is not true. In other countries, yes, after 5 years of staying together, you are married. In South Africa, we don't have a law that says if we stay together more than 3 months or 6 months, we are married. But what we do have, it's your retirement. It has an impact, fat and set. So if we stay together for more than 3 months, doing fat and set, you pass away, but on your nomination form, on your provident or pension, you didn't include me as a beneficiary. But financially, I was dependent on you. The law allows me to claim a portion of your retirement. So it is very important to understand that it does have an impact on your retirement. All right, and then if you've been staying together for more than, let's just say you've been staying together and we've been living like married couples, but we're just doing an illegal fat and set. And then by law, I can claim a portion of your assets should we break up. If we've been staying together and living like married couples, I mean, we've been, whatever cent I get, I contributed towards the relationship, support, emotionally, I've been there, even physically in the bedroom, we've both been satisfying each other, but it happens that things are not working out anymore. Then if we break up and I feel I am entitled to a certain percent of your assets, I can go to law and file what you call universal partnership. Then the court will decide if I'm entitled to a portion or not of your assets. But if you say, okay, I'm not the marrying type and I don't want to do illegal fat and set, you can do what we call civil union. Civil union, you go to Home Affairs, you register that you are staying together, but you are not married. You're going to get a certificate that says you are in a living partnership. That's a legal fat and set. And then when you break up, you're going to go through a normal divorce, but you are not married. You can also there sign an anti-nuptial contract. We call it ANC, where you decide whether you want to be in community of property or you want to be out of community of property. If you want to be out of community of property, it is divided into two. We have the without accrual. Without accrual says what is yours, what is mine, straightforward. Then we've got what is with accrual. With accrual says what I come with, it is mine. What you come with, it is yours. But what you're going to accrue in the marriage, it is ours. So we only share the profit, but not the losses. If during the marriage, we've entered the anti-nuptial contract under with accrual, during the marriage, I make a profit in my business, then we divorce, then by law, we're going to share the profit. But during the marriage, I lost or I find myself over indebted, then it means when we divorce, that is my problem, not yours. So these are the type of marriages and type of regimes we have in South Africa. Maybe next year or 2023 will be adding polyandry, depending what do you think of it. But also you need to remember we've got divorce. As much as we get married with the hope that we don't divorce, but it does happen. I personally feel that we tend to concentrate a lot on the wedding than on the actual marriage. We spend a lot of money. That's why some people end up divorcing while still paying for a wedding. And remember, a wedding is a celebration. It's not the actual marriage. All right, in South Africa, we have divorce, but we don't have legal separation. We only have divorce. And most people tend to separate. And remember, while you are separated, you are still legally married. Should your partner pass away, you inherit whatever debts they left with because you were still legally married. Or whatever wealth you build during your separation, when you divorce, they're entitled to 50% of everything you have built, even though you were separated, unless you have a valid reason why they shouldn't claim those assets. All right, sometimes in life, things don't work out. Here are the 3 things you need to consider during a divorce. Understand how assets and liabilities will be distributed between the partners in divorce under your marriage regime. Budget for additional costs like legal costs involved in selling homes and moving out. Assess the applications of the divorce on your retirement fund. Consult your financial advisor on the tax implication of withdrawals. And also, I think the biggest challenge is that most people, when they divorce, they are bitter. Divorce can be cheap and quick, but because most people divorce and one of them maybe was still in love, so they end up bitter and say, I want to prove a point. I want every cent they have. So it's better to know the costs that are involved before you even say, I do. Not saying that we should plan for divorce, but at least we should be prepared for it. Take control of your debt. You need to distinguish between good and bad debt. A bad debt is typically a high cost and drain your world, like food on credit. I mean, you are hungry, but you're still paying for food. Borrowing money to pay for another credit, you can't use Paul to pay Peter. And then luxury cars and holiday you can't afford. I mean, you see a lot of people posting, hey, I'm having fun in Cape Town, I'm having fun in Durban, but they don't say with credit, they just say having fun. When you come back, your debt is still waiting for you. And things are even worse. People call using advanced airtime. I mean, you are owing Vodacom, you are owing Airtel. Some even borrow, they even buy perfume on credit. You're smelling nice, you're smelling debt. I mean, that is bad debt. So we need to find ways to distinguish between good and bad debts and try to have good debts instead of bad debts. Good debts, it's where you build your wealth and improve your financial position, like your student loan, mortgage, business loan to grow your operations. All right, make debt work for you, don't work for your debt. Only take on debts that you can afford. And also I'll just give you a quick formula how to make sure that you can afford. Are you living within your means, or are you finding yourselves living beyond your means when it comes to your debt? It's a very quick formula you can use when you have time. You write down all your monthly installment on your debt. And then what you do, once you have the total, when you talk about your debt, you talk about rent if you're renting, or bond if you're paying for a bond. We're talking about your credit card. We're talking about your loans, whether it's mashonisa or micro loans. We're talking about your accounts clothing. We're talking about your car. Those are your debts. You write down every month how much you are paying, your monthly repayment. You add them together. You divide them with your gross. You times it with 100. The percentage you get will mean the following. 0 to 30% says to you, financially, you are fine. You are managing your debts well. 30 to 36, it says to you, financially, you are still okay, but be careful because the magic number is 36%. Your debt should not exceed 36% of your income. 37 to 50% says to you, financially, you are potentially in danger, but you can still do it yourself. You can be disciplined enough. You can compromise. You can sacrifice and still manage your debt. Don't add any more debt. And then 50 and above, it says to you, your debts are out of control, you're on your way to commit suicide or skipping the country. These are the type of people before payday. If the payday is on the 15th, on the 14th, 11 o'clock in the evening, they are already at the ATM. So that immediately 12 o'clock, once the airmen start clocking in, they withdraw everything. And that is not the life we want to live. So you need to make sure you know that you are managing your debts and your debts are not managing you. So that's the formula you can use to make sure that you are able to live within your debts. You don't exceed the 36%. If you need to take on debt, use debt to achieve your long-term goals, e.g. buying a house, shop around for the best interest and time and items, pay your credit card balance every month, and if you can afford, pay off your credit card. You don't have to close it if you are disciplined. Pay, then every single month, now you're no longer paying off the credit card, you start saving on the credit card. The interest they were charging you to pay the credit card now will be the interest for you to save your money. So you can use a credit card from being negative into being an savings account. If you are in debt, get out of it as quickly as possible. And please take advantage of the prime rate. We are at the 350 basis point. Take advantage that we are at the lowest in like 50 years. And then you can use all your debts and pay them off as quickly as you can. Keep an eye on your credit profile. It is very important to make sure that you check your credit profile, whether you are in excellent or good, favorable, average, below average. And if you are poor or below average, how can you start building your credit profile? Pay your accounts on time. When you talk about on time, if your payday is on the 25th, instead of paying on the 26th or 27th, because you're looking at the 7 days, don't do that. If you put on your credit that you are earning on the 25th, make sure you're paying on the 25th or a day before the 25th. That gives you a good credit score. Only use credit when you absolutely need it. Some of the debts we have, we don't need them. Maintain a healthy mix of credit, e.g. not too many payday loans. Check your credit record regularly. You can also check, you have one right to check your credit for free every year. As a South African citizen, you are allowed to check every year for free. You can go to any bank, any insurance, they will do it for free without charging you. So if you check now and then you want to check again in September, then they will start charging you because you already exhausted your one right. What gives you a bad credit score? It's payment history. If your debts are short, maybe you have a debt for 3 months or 6 months, that doesn't give you a good credit. So you have to make sure that your debt takes longer, but make sure you pay on time, or you have a debt that is longer, like your credit card, your accounts clothing, or your bond. Too much debt gives you a bad credit. Late payment or default, or if you are like an ostrich, you run away from your debts when they call you, don't answer. Be careful of that, because that puts you under default and gives you a bad credit score. The length of credit, I've already mentioned that. Account activity, how are you paying your debt? Are you paying this month, you're skipping next month, or are you playing a lotto machine when it comes to your debts? You roll down, you write all your debts and put them in a bowl, and then you play a raffle. Whoever comes out this month, you pay. Who doesn't, you don't pay. We don't do that when it comes to our debts. We need to make sure we pay every single month, every one of them. All right, you can look at TransUnion. They do give you one free credit report every year, and any other banks and insurances, they do that as well. How to get out of financial trouble? Take an inventory, write down all your debts, income and expenses, look at your expenses, start cutting and reduce them to pay bills. Remember how to cut. You can also cut even on your girlfriends. If you have 2 girlfriends, you can start cutting and have 1. If you have a Ben 10, looking at your finances, you can decide, you know what, I don't need a Ben 10 this year. I can live without, just to sort out my finance. And then once you are back on your finances, you can have your Ben 10 a day. If they are not understanding, but if they are understanding, you can have your Ben 10 on the side and not give them anything until you sort out your finances. Focus on paying off your debts using the snowball or avalanche technique. Stop taking on is there any way to increase your income, e.g. part-time job, sell things you don't need? Stop taking on new debts until you are in a better financial position. Then you can check your progress every week to make sure you are on track. two ways to approach paying off your debts. This one, we call it where you need to be disciplined, a method you can use. It's a table, it's a very simple table. You write down all your debts, you write down the interest of all your debts, you write down the period, and then you also write down the principal, and then you write the monthly installment. You look at your debts, you rank your debts from the lowest to the highest. Repayment, you put in the amount you owe every month, and then monthly repayment. This method gives you a quick win and keep you motivated. If you have extra money, what you can do, you can put in extra, looking at every month how much you were paying. For example, there's a store account, 22% is for 6 months. Then you were supposed to pay 370 every single month. You pay that. Instead of paying 370, you decide to double that amount. You are paying 740. It will take you, instead of 6 months, it will take you 3 months to pay it off. Once you're done paying off that debt, that store account, you are not used to the 370. You take the 370, as you can see the arrow there, you are paying 1,200 Rand on your HP agreement for 18%. Now you take the 370, you put it on your HP. You're supposed to pay for 24 months. Now, instead of paying 1,200 Rand, you will pay 1,570. So instead of paying it for 24 months, you end up paying for 18 months. Because you are not used to the 1,570 you were paying on the HP agreement, instead of spoiling yourself that now you have paid off your HP agreement, what do? You take the 1,570, you add it on your payday loan, which is charging you 25%. You're also supposed to pay it in 24 months. Now you add it there. Instead of paying 1,340, now you are paying 2,910 Rand. And then that will assist you in paying off your debt even quicker. So instead of paying for 24 months, you end up paying your debt for only 15 months. And then you've got your credit card. Your credit card, you are supposed to pay it for 6 months, and then you can do the same method as I've mentioned. Then you add extra, you end up paying in less month than previously. So that's how you can do it. Okay, when buying a car, you can also consider the following. Remember, balloon payment. Some of us, we are too excited when buying a car. You don't read the contract. It's very important. Some, they don't use the word balloon payment. Some, they use the word residual. What does that mean? It means you want to buy a car you cannot afford. If this car was 150,000, they say to you, okay, we'll sell this car to you at 100,000 using balloon payment or residual. It simply means your pay slip, when they look at your pay slip and your credit score, you cannot afford a car that is costing 150,000. You can only afford a car that is costing 100,000. But because they put it under balloon payment, they end up selling it to you. So once you pay off this car, by the end of 5 years or 8 years, as they extended it now, you will find yourself paid off, but you still have to pay the balloon payment. And if you don't have that lump sum for the balloon payment or residual, you find yourself getting into another contract where you have to pay every single month with interest added on. So it's very important to read the contract when you enter. And then a deposit, you can save up for the deposit and don't use a pay loan. Personally, I feel you don't need a deposit for a car. You can save money for deposit, but don't pay a deposit in a car. What you can do, that is just my personal experience. Then what you can do, you can buy the car without a deposit. Then once you pay the car, maybe after 3 months or 6 months, you can use that money for deposit to add it extra on your car. That makes a huge difference than paying a deposit. But that is just my personal experience. You can look at that as well if you are interested in doing something like that. Or you can just add more on your installment that cut off on the period and the interest as well than a deposit. And then interest rate, is it a fixed or a variable interest rate? If it's fixed, it means that since now we experience a low interest, a low prime rate, your contract, you are sticking to that fixed. If it's variable, it is impacted by inflation. So if you were charged 12% on your car, then it means now you are paying less because you entered a variable interest contract. If the prime rate goes up, will you still be able to afford the monthly payment? Because it will go up eventually. Duration of the contract, the longer you take to pay, the more interest you get charged. You pay 26%, that is 89,029 rand more on your credit. Thinking of buying a house, here are some tips, or here are some things to remember. The cost of a house. These are the ones-off cost, a deposit, which is good in a house if you are not a first-time buyer. Even if you are a first-time buyer, a deposit is always good in a house. It charges a lot on the interest, and also it charges down on the period as well, depending on the type of contract you enter, if it's fixed or it is variable. Bond registration cost, which is a lot, transfer duties, and then transfer cost, and then bond initiation fee, moving cost, and then occupational rate. I always say when you want to buy a house, always try to do a pre-approval before you even start looking. We tend to make a mistake where I'm looking at, okay, I want a house that it will cost me 800,000, but to only find out you cannot even afford that type of a house. So it's always best to make sure that you do what you call a pre-approval. If the bank says we'll give you 600,000, then at least you know more or less what type of a house you should be looking for and what you can afford, instead of shopping for a house to only find out you don't even qualify for that house. Monthly cost will be mortgage cost, building and household content insurance, electricity, water and sanitation, rates and taxes, maintenance cost, and then security. And also the type of area you're buying your house into. If you're buying in a market where it's near to the park, that will help a lot. Main road, near a school or park or complex, that will also contribute towards the type of market in terms of value of your property. Protect your family. We're looking at the secret of the buffalo, 100 rand. It's protect and grow your head family wealth. We're looking at insurance, prepare for worse, hope for the best. Medical aid or hospital plan, life insurance, credit life insurance. I think one thing we've learned during the pandemic is that whatever debt you get yourself into, it's important to have a credit insurance or credit life insurance. Should it happen, you get retrenched so that you don't get, your things don't get repossessed, or you find yourself over a blacklist or being blacklisted. So whatever you do from now on, when you check your credit, try to put the credit life insurance to protect yourself. Should there be retrenchment, disability, dreaded disease, or death at home. And also, when you do take the credit life insurance, please speak to the credit providers and find out what is their definition, because not all of them have the same definition. Some credit providers, they don't cover on their credit life insurance retrenchment. And there are those who do cover that. Even salary cut, there are those who do cover that, but there are those who doesn't. So always check what their definition is when it comes to their credit life insurance. Personal and funeral insurance is very important. We cannot plan for a funeral, but we can try and be prepared for it. Should it happen, yes, we will bury our loved ones with dignity. And I think during the pandemic, one thing we've learned as well is that we don't need to have fancy funerals as we used to have, where people will have red carpets, fancy after tears, 50 people, and you make sandwiches, it's enough. We don't have to spend a lot of money on funerals while we are living, we are suffering. So those are the things we need to look at. Will you be able to cover the cost or loss from your savings? If the answer is yes, then make sure you are self-insured. And then if the answer is no, consider insurance. Will you be able to pay the money premium? Is it yes or is it no? Shop around for the best prices, especially even on your car. You can look at, you can compare, because if the premium in your car is higher, it means that your access will be lower. That makes it a good car insurance. But if the premium is lower, but the access is higher, that makes it a bad car insurance contract. Because should it happen, you get involved in an accident, where would you get 10,000 rand in the middle of the month? That's why we find ourselves indebted because you have to use your credit card to sort out that problem or to borrow money to pay your access fee for your car. So those are the things we need to look at. It's important to get an insurance. As I've said, your road to your best life is 1, understand what influences your money decision. 2, manage your money well. 3, set actionable financial goals. 4, take control of your debts. And then 5, protect your family, yourself and your family. Creating a financial habit, create a weekly saving habit, evaluate your budget every month, do an annual finances health check. And also, don't use your bonus before you receive it, because that is another weakness we have. I haven't received my budget, my bonus yet, but I've already used it. Remember to schedule this event in your calendar. Before we go, we want you to commit to a good financial habit. After whatever you watch, after 9 o'clock, if you are watching Uzalo, after watching Uzalo on Wednesday evening, I will transfer 20 Rand into my tax-free savings account to wire the habit into my brain. I will immediately say, I'm the boss. So you can just commit yourself, whatever you watch every Wednesday or any other day you can choose at 9 o'clock, what are you going to do when it comes to your money? You can start even by just having a 2-liter for yourself. You cut it nicely, a 2-liter cold drink, you cut it nicely. You get just enough to be able to insert 5 Rand or 2 Rand. And then every evening, you just put 5 Rand, every evening put 5 Rand. When that 2-liter is full, you've got 5,000 in your 2-liter. That's another way of starting somewhere to save money. What is important is for us to have the habit of savings. All right, that's it from my side. I don't know if you have any questions or comments. I'll send it back to you, Katlego. Katlego?
Teshuna, Katlego has been removed as a co-host, so you will have to unmute her because you are the
I can't
host.
hear you. I couldn't get anything you say. I don't know if it's my line or your line, but I couldn't get anything you're saying.
Okay, no, I was saying Katlego has been muted. You will have to unmute her because you are the host.
Okay, so I can unmute everyone now.
You can unmute anyone you want to unmute, but also you can actually go to Katlego on more and make her a co-host so that she can help you with unmuting other people because you are the host now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Katlego, can you?
Sorry about that. I was removed as a co-host. Thank you so much, Petunia, for the presentation. What I would like to suggest is that should the participants have any questions, they can just raise their hands, and then what we'll do is that we'll switch off their mic. They can post a question and then you can respond to it subsequently.
No problem.
All right. Colleagues, if you have any questions, can you kindly just raise your hand so that we can unmute you instead of having you typing in the comment section and me reading out the question. I think it would be better if you just raise your hand and we'll unmute you. All right, we've got somebody there. Petunia, can you please unmute the person? Because it looks like I still don't have the right, yeah.
Okay, I have.
Okay, you can pose your question. Okay, it looks like the person has posted a question in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
The question is that, can we please have the formula again on how to calculate on how are your finances?
Okay.
So the formula that you are giving them, that is what the person is requesting.
Okay, no problem. Katlego, can you ask the power back? Because I'm struggling with Zoom. I'm used to Microsoft Teams. So I've been trying to find a button where I can try and unmute individual, but when I do press it, it doesn't happen. I don't know why.
Okay, are you able to make me a co-host? Are you finding that function?
No, I only see invite and mute all. That's it.
Okay, I think we'll have to just resort to having people posting questions in the comment section, and I will read them out and you can respond to that. Colleagues, if you have any questions, please post them in the comment section so I can read them out and our host will respond to it.
All right, the formula for debt ratio, it's you write down all your debts, as I've mentioned them previously, which is your car, your house, if you are paying for a bond, or rent if you are renting, your credit card, your loans if you have a mashonisa or a micro loan, and then your accounts clothing. Those are your debts. You add them together, how much you're paying every single month, you add them together, you divide them with your income, you times them by 100. So anything you get from 0 to 30, you are given a green light, you are fine. Anything you get from 30 to 36, you are given a caution. You need to be careful because the magic number is 36%. Anything from 37 to 50, you need to be careful because you are potentially in danger. Should you add any new debt, you will be in trouble. And then 50 and above, it says your debts are out of control. You need an expert to come and help you. You can't do it on your own. That's where you can resort for your debt review or debt consolidation. See, Sitole, were you answered? I think I've muted you. You can reply if you are answered. Did you get the formula?
I think you, yeah, the person just responded in the comment section that they have received the formula. Colleagues, if there are any other questions, please, please post them in the comment section so that we could conclude on this wonderful session that we have received from Ask Petunia. Okay, I think we don't have any other questions. I don't see any hands. I don't see any comments in the comment section. Ask Petunia, I'd like to say thank you for your time. As TUT, we really do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katlego and TUT. Thank you very much. Please, on the links, Katlego is attached. Please, everyone, you need to fill that one. It is my evidence that I did the presentation. It is our attendance register. So I do emphasize that the importance of it. It is my way of showing that I have done the workshop. So please go to that link and submit it, and then so that head office can see. Yes, I think there's a hand, Katlego.
Okay, if you could just hold on for me, because I wanted to post the link once more. It's just a comment from someone saying that they have filled in the link.
She's referring to the My Personality one. I'm referring to the first one where it's an attendance register, not the My Personality quiz.
All right, I've just posted the form. It's actually an attendance register that you can just click on. I've just posted it again on the comment section. It takes you less than a minute to fill it in. It's just so that she has a record of who has attended. Thank you so much, colleagues.
I think Sekha's hand is still up. I don't know if we didn't answer any of her question. Can she please type? Sekare, your hands is still up. Before we can leave, can you please write on the comment if you can't, because I asked you to unmute, but for some reason still it's not working on my side. I don't know what's happening, Katlego.
Yes, it looks like Serage's hand is still up and I'm not receiving any. I think I just received something. Oh, they are requesting for the recording. Our corporate affairs and marketing department will make the link available to me. You are more than welcome to send me an email. Once I have received it, I will gladly forward it to you.
All right, thank you. Hi, Linda. Did you hear what Katlego said? She will also send via email the register link, because I see that you say you only see the personality one. And another one says they don't see the form.
Okay, I'm going to post it again.
Please.
I've just posted it again.
No, even on my side, I don't see it.
You don't?
No.
Oh, sorry. I think
I also see the personality one. Oh, there
right,
you are.
Yeah, I've just posted it again. Sorry, I was actually responding directly to Sithole. Sithole, my apologies. I was sending the register to you only. My apologies about that, colleagues. I've just posted it to everyone.
All right, thank you, everyone. Here it is been posted. That is the attendance register. Or should you need more information regarding what we talk about here, remember you are not taking a policy, but you need more information. You are welcome. As Katlego said, it only takes a minute, then you submit. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. I'm also going to just post my email address should anybody would like to request a recording.
All right, I don't know if they need my number. Should I write it on the comment, or they are fine? They can ask you if they do need my number, should they want to ask personal questions maybe.
All right, no problem. You can post it on the chat section, and please remember that you are the only one who can end this meeting, unfortunately, because all of us have been removed as co-hosts from the meeting.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, once you've posted your number, then you are more than welcome just to end the meeting.
Okay.
All right, thanks, bye.
All right, I just posted my number. If you do have personal questions you couldn't ask here, you are welcome to give me a call from 8 o'clock until 4:30, and then I'll try to answer as best as I can. But if I can't answer, I will refer you to the relevant people, because some of the things we talk about here, they need legal people, experts. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day.